CNN hits Kamala Harris with a brutal fact check. Guys, you're not going to want to miss this, all right? It is bad for Kamala right now. She's slipping in the polls. She's looking dumber and dumber every day. You know, honestly, I personally am shocked she didn't do the basement Biden strategy. Seemed to go well for Joe Biden, but Kamala, I guess, just couldn't help herself and had to come out, and she is now reaping the consequences of her actions. So we're going to get right into it, guys. This is going to be a lot of fun. But first, everybody, do me a favor here. Like our video, share it around, and if you are new, subscribe to the Resistance Mainstream YouTube channel so we keep bringing you guys this great, hard-hitting content. As always, everybody, I'm your host, Darian. Let's get into the show.
Aaron, and this really shows sort of just how far left that Kamala Harris got in that 2019 Democratic primary when she was running with Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. She was making this extremely bold promise that she was going to take the U.S. oil industry, possibly criminally prosecute them for their role in climate change. She compared it to big tobacco, saying they knew the effects of climate change, but they hid it from the public. Now we saw there, fast forward to 2024, what are her and Tim Walz doing? They are touting the record domestic oil production from those same oil companies during the Biden-Harris administration. And, well, how big of a shift is this? Well, take a listen to just one of those comments from 2019.
Will you order your Justice Department and your Attorney General to investigate Chevron and Shell companies for their part in and their damage to our planet in this climate crisis?
I'm saying about these big oil companies and these fossil fuel companies, look, you should be really prepared to look at a serious fine or be charged with a crime. And they need to pay the price. So yes is the answer.
These people are just so full of it. It's just incredible. You remember back in 2020 when Joe Biden was saying that he would ban fracking on one hand, then he'd go over to Pennsylvania and suddenly he'd become good old working class Scranton Joe. I ain't gonna ban fracking. I love oil. I love American energy. I love the jobs for the working class. Right, and then he would go back to saying he's banning fracking just about 2 seconds later. Empty suits, right? These people believe nothing. By the way, Kamala, same thing with Kamala, whatever you want to call her. She was doing this kind of thing with, oh, I'm going to ban fracking, I'm not going to ban fracking. It's totally fake.
And that's very different from obviously what we played in the intro here, but that was not the only time she made comments like this. This was very much a theme for her. Take a listen to a few other comments that she made in 2019.
I took on big oil companies and won.
We've taken on the big oil companies who are polluting. I took on oil companies who are polluting our environments.
All right, obviously that is extremely different than what she is presenting right now. But this isn't the only thing that she's flipped on that you found, and you found a lot of other inconsistencies.
Yeah, she's flip-flopped on a lot of issues related to energy. Take a look at just a few of them. She said she was going to ban plastic straws. She said she was going to ban fracking. We have heard a lot about that. And she said she would eliminate the filibuster to pass the Green New Deal. Now, she also ran Facebook ads during that campaign, which were touting her support for the Green New Deal, which were saying that she was going to take on big oil to stop for their role in contributing to climate change.
You know it's bad when CNN is calling you out, saying that you were once far left. I love that. A far left outlet saying you're far left, and then pointing out that you're just full of it. You're just lying. I think that's great. So now that we see that CNN is roasting Kamala a bit on this, let's see what they have to say about her interview with Fox News.
No answer for why Biden and Harris threw out Donald Trump's executive orders and changed everything, and then a flood of people came in. An ounce of humility here would go a long way, and she doesn't have it in her to do it, and she has no real answer other than to blame Congress. And Brett was right. Democrats controlled everything when they took over, and so is she saying it's the Democrats' fault that the immigration system is broken? I don't understand this. I don't understand why she can't just say, hindsight here, we shouldn't have done it. I think the American people would actually accept it, but she won't do it. No answer for why.
Let's not forget, additionally, as well, that Kamala said she would do nothing different from Joe Biden, and that whenever somebody asks her, hey, what do you think about Joe Biden's mental capacity or how he was president, she'll just sit there and talk about how he was so great and he did perfectly fine and he's perfectly capable to govern, which calls into question, if he's so perfectly capable to govern, why is he dropping out and passing the torch to you? It doesn't really make sense. But anyways, it's so obviously phony. You guys remember back in 2020 when Kamala was viciously attacking Joe Biden during the debate? She was saying he's this horrible racist, almost almost implying he's a white supremacist, which, you know, that's a keyword for the most evil person ever if you're a Democrat. She also went after Biden for his past work with different people, older senators, such as, you know, the segregationist senators, such as Robert Byrd, really implying that he is this horrible racist of some kind, and thus cannot be in office. Now, all of a sudden, she likes him. She's totally cool with him. She's not calling his age into question, his mental acuity, anything like that. Yeah, totally phony and fake. And now, let's get ready to watch a very special guest come talk on, someone who we all know very well.
Hadass, good to see you both. I want to ask you, Brian, about this other moment between Kamala Harris and Bret Baier. It was over whether Trump, his comments about the enemy from within and so on. Let's play that and talk about it on the other side.
We asked that question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
So,
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within.
It is the enemy from within, and they're very dangerous. They're Marxists and communists and fascists, and they're sick. I use a guy like Adam Schiff because they made up the Russia hoax. It took 2 years to solve the problem. Absolutely nothing was done wrong, et cetera, et cetera. They're dangerous for our country. We have China, we have Russia, we have all these countries. If you have a smart president, they can all be handled. The more difficult are, the Pelosi's, these people, they're so sick and they're so evil.
Yeah, I mean, Brian, obviously what we showed there was...
Am I the only one who forgot that Jim Acosta still has a job? I didn't even remember he existed. And let me be the first to say, guys, I am so sorry for potentially being the reason that you got to be reintroduced to Jim Acosta, okay? Please forgive me. I know he's insufferable.
Yeah, I mean, Brian, obviously what we showed there was the moment that Bret Baier showed Vice President Harris during the interview, and then the actual moment that occurred during that town hall that he should have shown during the interview. What did you make of that?
The town hall was softball. The Harris interview was hardball. And that's to be expected from Fox because it is an extension of the Trump campaign. That's why it's so notable that Harris showed up and did the interview. But what she was doing, whether by reading the URL for her website or pointing out Trump's actual claims, she was trying to get information through to a pro-Trump audience that rarely hears it. You know, there's these excuses being made for Trump's enemies' comments. People like, even on this network are sometimes pretending that Trump's only talking about Marxists and communists. That's not true. He's talking about Democratic politicians, media companies, tech companies. Trump is very clearly threatening to exact retribution if he's elected next year. And I think it's notable that Harris...
Forgive me for being that guy, but is that supposed to be a bad thing? That Trump is calling Democrat politicians who want to do sex changes on children and end their lives up until the day of birth, and in many cases after birth, that he's calling them enemies? Are those people supposed to be friends? People we treat like they're cupcakes or something? I really fail to see the issue here, personally.
Harris was going on Fox, going into the Fox den and trying to make Fox viewers hear it for themselves.
Well, and what's also notable about that, Brian, was that the vice president was prepared for that moment. It seems as though she was able to catch Bret Baier on the fly, playing the wrong clip, playing a misleading clip instead of what actually took place. So
that's right.
I mean, that is an
extraordinary moment by Harris. She is just stunningly brave, beautiful, and intelligent. She's just everything positive, honestly. Also, she's not the evil orange man. So if that's not a reason to vote for her, I don't know what is. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. As always, please be sure to comment below. Let us know what you liked about the clip, what kind of stuff you want to see in the future, and we'll see you guys again soon. Thank you, and God bless.